Another postseason, another early exit for the LA Dodgers. In this video, I'm going to go over some reasons to why the Padres stunned the Dodgers. Let's go talk about it. So if you have been living under a rock, the Padres just knocked out the Dodgers from the postseason, and that is extremely significant. Taking a look here, the Dodgers third all-time in wins in a regular season with 111, tied with the Cleveland Indians of 1954. This was an extremely good Dodgers team. I mean, even taking a look at the all-time Fangraph WAR, when you look at offense and defense, the Dodgers this year were 19th all-time with a 38.8 wins above replacement when you combine the offense and the defense. Honestly, it was mostly offense. If we go take a look at the all-time rankings, this was the 13th best offense of all time. That is extremely nutty. We saw a historic Dodgers team this year. Very good team. Taking a look at the overall rankings for this year, I mean, obviously, the Dodgers, this was a historic offense. Number one this year in offense. Taking a look at the starting pitching, 7th in the second half this year. And taking a look at the entire season, the Dodgers starting pitching just had such good numbers for the entire year. 4th on the season. And taking a look at the relief pitching, 2nd in relief pitching this year. This was a really good Dodgers team, but I want to just point out here, the Padres, they're a good team too. If we go take a look at where the Padres ranked, now, you know, these numbers are not going to be anywhere near what the Dodgers were putting up. 12th in offense, or when you combine the offense and the defense, they were 12th overall. If you take a look at just the offense, 12th overall as well. If we take a look at the starting pitching, 9th overall on the year, and we take a look at the bullpens, 8th overall. So this was not a pushover team here in San Diego. A very good team overall. You traded for Soto at the deadline. You also got Josh Bell. Those guys have been contributing very nicely in this lineup. You got bats all over the place. Manny Machado going in for an MVP. Jake Cronenworth with a solid season. Ha-Seong Kim playing great defense out there. Very good guys in the lineup. But when you're looking at the starting pitching, this was a very good starting pitching staff. If we go take a look here at the Padres, obviously you got Yu Darvish at the top there, Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove. Those have been the big three when it comes to the postseason, and they were a big reason for why they were able to knock out the Dodgers. But I'm going to dive into some key reasons to why I think the Padres were able to do the unthinkable and knock the Dodgers out of the postseason this year. The first reason the Padres were able to knock out the Dodgers was a key error in Game 2. If we go back to Game 2 here, the Padres won this one 5-3, able to tie it up at a game apiece. But a crucial error in the 6th inning occurred, and that ended up leading to a Padres run. If we go here, Brandon Drury, he got it started off with a base hit, but then Jake Cronenworth, he grounded out into the force out. He ended up going to first. But then, taking a look here, Will Myers, he reached on the fielder's choice, but Trey Turner made an error here, and that ended up leading to a Jerickson Profar base hit that ended up scoring Jake Cronenworth. And if we go take a look at the Dodgers this year, when it came to runs on errors, the Dodgers were not a good team. Well, after giving up some errors, a lot of those runs ended up scoring against them. They were 29th in Major League Baseball this year, behind some really bad teams like the Tigers, like the Nationals. I mean, my goodness, the only other team behind them were the Pirates. The Dodgers were not very good at those runners that were able to reach base via error. They did not do a good job at leaving them on base. So this ended up being the first crucial mistake for the Dodgers, and the Padres took advantage of it, and they were able to win this game. The next reason was starting Tony Gonsolin in Game 3. I did not like this move. Tony Gonsolin has not been able to prove himself in the postseason, but also he was nursing a forearm strain at the end of the season. So he was coming into this game with a limited pitch count. In the end, the offense did not show up for the Dodgers, but where I think this hurt the Dodgers is they really had to go to this pen here. Gonsolin only went an inning and a third, 4 hits. He only gave up the run, but not effective overall. You wanted some more innings out of him. Heaney ended up coming in for the 3, but then you used Almonte, Vesia, Phillips, Canley, and sure, they did do well, but in the end, the fact that you had to use these guys, and then they ended up having to pitch again in Game 4, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit, that ended up, taxing the bullpen a little bit. I think going with another starter would have been the better option instead of a Tony Gonsolin, again, who had been injured at the end of the year. He was on a limited pitch count. Why not go with a guy that you think could maybe give you 6 or 7? Why not go with Tyler Anderson in this game? I thought that was a mistake. I did not like the Dodgers starting Tony Gonsolin in Game 3. And that leads us to the next reason, the mismanagement of the bullpen. Again, you had to burn through a lot of these guys in Game 3 because Gonsolin did not go many innings. So you had to use Canely, Almonte, Vesia, in back-to-back games here. And the fact that, Canely, remember, this guy just came back from Tommy John. Only one time this year had he pitched in back-to-back games. Almonte didn't pitch in back-to-back games at all this year. And don't forget, with Almonte, he was also hurt at the end of the regular season. He was dealing with some elbow tightness at the end of the season. You didn't even know if he was going to come back for the postseason. And the fact that you're having him go in back-to-back nights, I don't know, man. Just don't think that was a very good call. Talking about the bullpen here, if we're looking at the Dodgers this year, they had Craig Kimbrell as the closer, but they removed him from that closer role. I said this a million times in the postseason preview. The fact that you did not have established roles in this bullpen after taking Kimbrell out of the closer role, you basically went with a closer by committee approach. I'm not a fan of that. I said that a million times. I saw what happened in 2003 with my Red Sox. You didn't have an established closer. That's why they ended up going out and getting Keith Folk, and then he closed out the World Series in 2004. I'm a big fan of having a guy at the end of the game to close out the game, but that also means that other guys in this bullpen, they're going to have roles. Who's pitching the 7th? Who's pitching the 8th? Who's going to be pitching the 5th and the 6th if you need to? That's important to me. I think that's extremely important. You did have Chris Martin get a save in this series, but again, you were kind of just all over the place with this bullpen. I think it's better when guys have their roles. If you take a look at the Padres, they had a very consistent approach using Suarez in certain situations. Obviously, Hader closing out games. The Padres just had a more organized bullpen. The Dodgers were all over the place, and I definitely think that came back to haunt them in this series. In the end, I think the Padres were just able to match up well with the Dodgers, despite only winning 5 out of the 19 games against the Dodgers all year. The big difference, it's postseason baseball. You go with your big guns, your big starting pitchers, Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove. I like that big three way more than what the Dodgers had going. As much as I like a Tyler Anderson, I love Urias, I love Kershaw. To me, I preferred the Padres starting pitching, especially after seeing what they did against the Mets, man. They just really came to play in this postseason. I just think the Dodgers, they were mismanaged here in a few different ways. I think the bullpen was not managed very well. I think, again, though, but you have guys all over the place. You have no defined roles in this bullpen. You didn't even know who was going to be closing out the game. You didn't know which guys were going to be throwing what innings. While the Padres, on the other hand, that bullpen was way more organized. You had defined roles. Hader as your closer, Suarez and Garcia as your setup guys. A good, strong crew of middle relief. I think in the end, the Padres, they were just managed better than this Dodgers team in the postseason. I think they made the correct calls. They came up with the timely hits. The bullpen, they were fantastic. Starting pitching, fantastic. In the end, I just think they were ready to play more than the Dodgers. So those are my reasons why the Dodgers were stunned by the Padres. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Are there any other reasons why you think the Padres were able to knock off this juggernaut of a Dodgers team? Let me know. But that's all I have for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.